Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my voice is clear or is it echoing?
Yes, yes,
It's
sir,
clear.
clear.
It is clear, right? All right. So it seems this particular timing is feasible for many of us. So attendance is also quite good. All right. So on the occasion of National Literacy Month, which is September, Language Club of GECR, is collaborating with NSS GECR, and we have now today is a session of debate in which we are going to discuss that should literacy be the primary reason for choosing our political leaders. I hope you have done your research well, and we'll start the session quickly. First of all, let me discuss some of the rules we have regarding the differences between a debate and a group discussion. In group discussion, you kind of have to agree with everyone. At the same time, you are putting your own opinions. In a debate, you cannot agree with other your opponent's points. Rather, you have to cut their points and put your own points or opinions. That way, you'll get the marks. You can be a little bit aggressive in debate, but you should avoid making a fish market over here. At the same time, no spaces should be there in between the session. Like no silence should be there in between the session. So whoever breaks the silence gets a extra bonus. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
All right. Also spare the background since this is my regular recording studio. So kindly bear with me. Other thing is, if you want, you can turn on your videos so that we can have a good eye contact while discussing or debating, and the productivity level goes up. So, if possible, kindly turn on your mic, not mics, videos as of now. And when you will speak, only then turn on your mic. And once you are done speaking, turn off your mic so that there is no extra chaos. All right. So, without ado, let's start with the session. We know that in our in particularly talking about our country India, almost 60% or more of the political leaders are not that much illiterate, but they can read or write. But literacy has a different meaning definitions. The literal meaning of literacy is that the one who can read or write. So is this should it is this should be the primary reason to select our political leaders or representatives? I would like to know your opinions. So you either can be on for the motion or against the motion. You cannot switch in between. You have to choose one side. If you switch, automatically your points goes down, and finally you will be rejected or disqualified. Without ado, let's start with the session. Anyone who is for the motion can start. See,
Good afternoon, sir.
all right. Yeah, Rishabh.
Sir, myself Rishabh Khandelwal. I am from Civil Branch, second SEM. Sir, I am in the for the motion of the topic that the politicians that we have to choose should be literate or not. So I am for the motion. Sir, I am in the favor of the motion topic because the leaders which we are going to choose should be basically literate. It is the basic requirement because if a leader does not know how to speak or write or how to understand what is written, then it is of no use because like if we have chosen any leader, we have elected him or her, his whoever it is, he or she should know basically how to write because whatever work we have to do in that reading and writing is very important. So yes, it is very basic requirement for a politician that we have to elect, as because if the leader does not know how to speak and write, then nobody will listen to him or respect his views, because if everybody say that he does not know anything, because a person who does not know how to write and read, how he will do research in any particular topic and do good decision about that. So it is very much important. And if we want thank you, sir, that's from my side.
See, I guess you guys are not familiar with the debate. Whenever someone is speaking against you, then for example, I am against, for example, let's take hypothetically, I am against this motion. So when the previous speaker Rishabh was speaking, I should have cut his point which I disagree with in between. You don't have to wait for him to finish. It is not a speech, it is a debate. So you have to one to one debate with someone. So you don't have to wait for him to finish. You can interrupt him in between. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So since Rishabh has finished speaking, whoever has chosen against the motion can speak.
So, good morning, everyone. I am Deepak Kumar, triple E 7th Cell. So, I would like to go against the motion. So, there is a saying that you know value of something more when you are lacking it. And when we see basic definition of literacy is that a person who is able to write and read is known as literate. But the more important thing is for politicians your leadership and your uh, your behavior. For that it is not much important to be a literate, to be a good politician. Just like in our country many literate officers, educated officers, politicians are more corrupted, while in villages or local areas, uneducated people who work on the ground do more work, more better work in villages. So I think an uneducated or illiterate person can also do good work. And just like Reserve has said that a person, if he doesn't know how to write or read, then how can he communicate with others? So in this technology era it is not that much important to you to know read or write. There are a lot of techniques that can translate, or through that you can understand, or it is more important. And politics is more important for politics is more is built on leadership. So if you have good leadership skills and ethical values, then you can be a good politician. That's my point.
But my friend Deepak, uh, what is the use of a leader if he does not know how to read and write? Because otherwise, somebody will come and say that it is written in this paper, and he will say anything and he will take sign of the leader. Then what is the use if he does not if he cannot read about what is written?
I think he should have a sense of humor that without understanding of anything, he will not do
But
signature.
but
He can
how
have
can we be so sure about the that whatever translate it is told about him
Rishabh,
that
I
what
want to interrupt you. But it can be a condition that literacy is important, but it can't be a primary to choose for a political leader, because it can be a situation in past that he can't go to school or something, or have to go to a work and can't study, but in future he want to be a leader, so he can be a
so for
leader without
becoming leader
study.
he should know na that is okay that he is not able to go to school, whatever it is okay, but first he have to learn something, how to read and write, then only he can be a good leader.
He can learn after becoming a political leader as
Yeah.
well. If there is a will,
But
there is a
eventually,
way.
deep literacy is important, right? According to you also. You just said ki after
But it
becoming
can
a
be a
leader, he
primary condition to choose a political leader.
No,
why it can't be a primary leader, a primary condition.
if he'll study means education is very important because by reading social subjects like history and other we are able to getting means we are getting the knowledge of our history where many problems were solved. If they're studying about our king's old means culture, they will be getting the knowledge of solving the problem. If they are not aware of the our history, Indian history, then how will they will solve the problem? Because our history has answered of many things. That's
But
my point.
unfortunately, the highly educated people like IS officers, which are the backbone of the Indian governance, are working under the uneducated persons, and also there is no rule for political education.
Aditi, I would like to interrupt you. Education doesn't mean literacy. Literacy is the basic meaning of literacy is to know how to read and write, and that's important.
Well, on that note, I would like to say that like every person is capable of reading and writing. I do believe, and I think for an top leader, the five top points are like first is the confidence, second is the flexibility, third is the great political leaders like leading qualities, and the other one is the devotion for finding peace in everyday, like like to solving everyday problems. And if he's capable of understanding the problems of their can of their people, so I think it's fine.
But I think that literacy gives a broad view of thinking. So if he is not literate, he will be restricted to a small thinking which he has learned from his family or his society. He will not get a broad view of thinking, I guess.
But in past, some political leaders are proved to be a very good leaders. Apart from that, they are not literate to a higher extent. Also, and also they are proved to be a good leader. So we can say that illiteracy is not primary.
No, but
Okay,
in the
sorry.
past,
If you are saying that Akbar, Shivaji, Ashoka were good, but in present technological
yes.
advance, it's advanced word, and leaders should know the technology, what's we can do with that. So, though in past it's okay for a leader to not be educated, but now it is possible that the leader will be faked if he is not literate.
I would like to add one point that if our political leaders were literate, they would have given much more importance to our primary education. And we all know the condition of our government school and primary education system, that they are not at all focusing on the primary education. And means first thing, most important thing is they are passing the students till 8th class. That's why even though not the parents are serious and not even the students are serious, they are thinking that we are passing till 8th class, till that time they are just means going to the school. And I know the condition of ninth class student because my uncle is a teacher there. They even don't know how to write their name in English and all. So that's the main problem of government, that means they're not understanding the basic problem.
so. Prakriti, do you want to say that all the education ministers are illiterate in present?
No, sir, not that, but They are not focusing on the primary education system, which is most important thing. Means even the student don't know how to read and write in till ninth class.
So, if problem also of ministers now that who that are educated but they are not taking a good steps for primary education of the students for children. So they are educated politicians are also not that much good. But if any illiterate person can do for betterment of education, then I don't think that it is necessary.
You may be right, sir, but after all, educated people will know importance of education more rather than an illiterate person.
How can you see?
If an educated person is ready with the facts and figure of the situation, so he can understand better.
See, like Deepak sir has said in the beginning that when you are lacking something, you can know the importance of it. So the leaders which are lacking education then can also have the importance of education. And like we have presently we have our new education scheme, and we can't say that the leaders are in the cabinet are fully educated. So how they are presenting the new education scheme for the uh, education? So
Here
In
we are
my
not
opinion,
talking about education, we are talking about literate. That they should be basically literate about what is the topic, so that they can read about that. Education is different thing. We are talking about literacy, that they can learn and write and read.
in my opinion, the health minister should be doctor. Sport minister should be PhD in sport. The financial minister should be commerce graduated, and the agriculture minister should be masters in agriculture. Politicians become more powerful administrators after winning election. They need basic knowledge and education to perform their work.
But I think to guide them, there are officers under them who guide the politicians to work for them.
And that officers are literate, sir.
So they are not politicians.
We know
But
the work of
eventually you are saying that they are guiding them. So you mean literacy is important.
we know the work of IAS officer and other civil servants, but, and means government is only taking exam for their selection. So we know how the importance of literacy is, because the our administrative is working on the means the people working there are literate, and they are means backbone of our administrative.
I have to add one point. Okay, if you are saying that leaders should be educated to lead better, but if we take Hitler example, though he was literate, but what was the outcome? He know one of the most dangerous dictator.
I want to add on, like if the educated leader and a literate leader turn out to be a corrupted leader in future, then how can we say that literacy is important? Because it will
But
corrupt the
that is
government
the
organizations.
that is okay, but in that way we cannot, then we cannot elect somebody because uh, everyone can be, everyone can take money and do work. Then we cannot say that educated and literacy is of, like, this point is not valid here, I think.
Yes, I also agree that corruption is a different thing and literacy is a different thing. We cannot merge both the things because a literate person is also doing the same thing and the illiterate is also doing the same thing. Here we are focusing on the literacy part, that should he be able to at least read and write, because in our that constitution many other rules and regulations are given, but an illiterate can manipulate it in its own way and then tell the public, which is a wrong thing, because many rights and responsibilities are there in our constitution. So there means wrong impact will be there, and the wrong message will be going to the public.
I have to one more point. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can change the world. It is quoted by our Nelson Mandela. And what is the outcome? If you are saying Hitler, but what about the Gandhiji, Nehru? They were the literate and they were like very good leaders now, which help us to fight against our right. And they are now like most good politicians. So it depends on the values, not about the literate. Some are good, some are not.
That's what I want to say. It's depend upon the values and leadership skills for being a politician.
Here we are focusing about the literacy and not about the leadership qualities and what are the qualities that is required by a politician.
So you are talking about literacy should be primary category, but I don't think it should be primary category. Primary category should be leadership or value or other value.
So, but in the beginning, we cannot judge a person that does he has the leadership quality or not. Like in first meeting, we cannot judge or means tell that he has the leader quality or not. But in the first glance, we can at least know that he is literate or not. Means if he is a literate person or he has gone to the school or college, we know that he know his responsibility and the leadership quality is in him.
But if a illiterate pupil has a sympathy towards a pupil and want to do good for the public, then it can be elected for a political party without judging it is a literate or illiterate.
But how we will know that he's in real he is very a good person? How can we know that he is
Really know
taking
that.
sympathy, and how can we judge him?
And
At
how
least
can
he
we
will
know
kill.
if he is a literate person, then he can do good for the public? We can't say.
But if he is choosing the field to come in the politics, his mindset is to work for the people, right?
It's not necessary. Some people come for only the power and the money.
Then this point is for the illiterate also.
Yeah, what I am saying, it can't be a primary term. It can be secondary for the political party should to elect the illiterate people, but can't be a primary.
It is a primary because if a person get elected and from the first day he is not able to do work like basic whatever the things that they have to do, then what is the use? Because to do work he have to read the papers, think about it, research about it. Then how can he do the work?
Like in India, for every post, every job, we are fighting for an exam. Even for the peon's post, we are fighting for an exam. Then why not a basic exam for politicians? Like we should know how literate he is and how knowledgeable knowledge he has gained. So like there should be a written exam or something kind of that to know how literate the person is and how what is the education background of that person.
Then we should then we should map politicians according to UPSC exam.
I'm
No,
not getting it.
UPSC is a very big exam. For that, you have to study a lot about. You have to be a very good educated person. We are talking about literacy basic requirement that at least he should know read and write so that he can do work from the very first day of his tenure.
So, if a person is illiterate, then he can't. Then you are saying that he can't do work from the first day.
Yes,
They,
because if he have to do the work, he have to take the help of someone to translate him the about whatever work it is about. He have need a translator who will make him understand whatever it is there. And that translator can be anyone. He can be a biased one. So how can a politician can be a good leader?
See, if if a person is going for a prime minister post, then for sure he will know the role of a prime minister, and then he can
We are
work
not
by
talking
taking
about
a
PM. We are not talking about the PM.
for any
Any
post of
politician.
leader or for any post of political leader, but he will know the work of the that post, no. So
How
he
can
can
he
work.
know? He will overview. He will know about the overview of the work. But when he will enter, he should know na what work he have to do from the first day. How he can know? He can only know the overview that I have to do this work. I have to take the charge of this field. But when he will get elected and he will do start his work, then only he have to read the papers, think about it. Then he can take good decisions.
Low qualified politicians cannot cope up with the global changes and will not able to understand the diplomatic situation with others country of the world.
And even the technology part also, I agree that if he's not literate, how he will understand the upcoming technologies and the means latest things coming in our future world.
If a politician is not well educated, he will not have the right to voice for education for others also.
I think that the the members who were against the motion have no more points left. So I think they also have finally agreed to the point that literacy is very important for choosing a leader.
Is that so? See, let me jump in. The topic for the debate was, should literacy be the primary criteria, primary, underline the word primary criteria to uh, choose or elect your representative. So, primary means there are multiple criterias. There could be honesty, good leadership, good personality, literacy is a criteria. So, there are multiple criterias. Among those, should literacy be the primary criteria to elect a representative? So I personally believe the debate is still going on. Just because of the to break in the silence, I'm saying that I personally believe that it shouldn't be the primary criteria, but rather honesty should be the primary criteria to elect a leader. Because if a leader is not honest, even he or she is PhD or a super graduate, whatever it is, even a UPSC qualified, it doesn't matter, because ultimately the results are going to be dishonest or the corruption itself, which we have seen in since independence. So I personally believe that honesty should be the primary criteria rather than literacy. We have seen many leaders like Jayalalitha and Uma Bharti who were not literate. They were illiterate, but still they helped in the development of their state or nation. So honesty should be the primary criteria rather than literacy. Now you can, again, we have time, you can
So, but I think how we
continue.
can someone's honesty, like it's a feeling or a nature of a person, then how we can judge the honesty of that person. Like literacy can be judged that, and that's a basic criteria, because we can judge how a person literate is, and if he's literate, he has a broad way of thinking of any situation or any perspective. Like
Yes, I would like to add on that. How would you know that the person is honest? As you said, honesty should be the primary criteria. So how would you know that? But on the other hand, literacy can be measured. Will be known.
Yeah, both literacy is an objective kind of criteria, and honesty is subjective. But still, when you're choosing when you have two options, where one there is an literate person who is literate enough, and you are not sure that he or she is honest or not. But if you know someone for a very long time, there have been leaders who were very popular uh, amongst their followings or the people, and have been doing social work for a very long time. For example, let's say Uma Bharti or Jayalalitha or Mr. Shah, things is that you know the person well, and if you have a choice, you should keep honesty as a primary source, because literacy can be easily developed. You can learn to read and write even once you are elected. But if you are not honest, then it could not be developed, because it is a basic nature of person. So it can not be easily developed, but literacy can be easily developed. That is why I'm saying that honesty should be the primary reason to elect a person, not literacy. It should be secondary, but cannot be primary.
But sir, how can we know that he is honest? Because before getting the power, all are honest. Like they do very good promises, they work a lot, and after getting power, they do not work properly. So how can we say that they are honest, and how can it be a primary reason?
That is not true for everyone. There are many instances, many leaders who, even after getting power, they have been their honesty increased rather than getting the rather than making this statement true that on power corrupts even the honest man. So it is not true for everyone.
Yes, sir.
I want
Yes,
to
Mr.
add on as
Madhur.
well that you selected a literate pupil. Then how can you say that he will always do good for the public? He can't do that as well.
But you cannot say out illiterate person also, na? That he will be honest for sure.
So exactly, it can be a primary now. It can be a primary criteria.
Yes, yes, honesty is not a primary reason. That is only what I'm
Literacy is not a primary criteria.
literate. Honesty is not a primary criteria because it can be 50-50 for both of them. Like a literate person can also be honest and illiterate also.
See, if both have the will to do good for the public, then you can also select the illiterate people. No?
But honesty is of a 50-50 chance, so we should like not consider here about the point honesty.
But
See, as I said, honesty can not be developed if the person is dishonest from the very beginning. But literacy can be developed, can be achieved. Reading and writing is not a big deal for someone to learn. That is what I'm saying. Even if he or she is illiterate, there are multiple instances, multiple examples in history where the leaders were illiterate at first, but once they gained the power, they learned to read and write, and then they worked very gracefully and successfully.
But eventually, sir, they have to learn how to read and write. So why can't it be a primary criteria? There should be a primary criteria that before becoming a leader, they should know. Eventually, they learned. So,
So that is the thing. Eventually, they can learn. So rather than keeping literacy the primary criteria, you should keep something which is more important, like honesty.
But sir,
sir, as
we all know that it is very easy for an honest person to deviate. Like after getting power, it is very much possible that the honest person can become dishonest.
There's always a chance. Even a literate person can become dishonest.
Yes, sir. So that is
There's
why only
always a
honesty
chance.
cannot be a primary reason, na?
and also literacy can't be a primary criteria. A person can learn afterwards.
But if he want to work from the day one, then he will learn after 1 month, 2 months. Then what is the use? From the very first day, if he want to work, then how he will work?
Even for knowing the basic rules and regulation, he should be literate also. If we are talking about working from the first day.
See, as far as working goes, the politicians don't have to work themselves. There is a PA allotted to them, which is an IAS rank officer who is well educated, well literate enough to handle all the paperwork and the things. The politician just has to make decisions. His or her work is not to read the documents, rather frame the documents, frame the rules, frame the laws, and get it executed by his or her PA or assistant. So although I agree that basic reading should know, so that the person, you should not get dependent on someone completely. So that is what I'm saying, that basic literacy can be achieved even after getting in power, and that is not a very lengthy process. When 1 week or 2 weeks of practice also can make a person literate. It depends on the will. There have been multiple instances, as I said, that, for example, let's take Jayalalitha. Jayalalitha had a very good team who, uh, in words, described the laws and things, and her way of doing thing is of making just decisions. Taking decisions is the primary thing for a politician to make, rather than going through all the notes and the laws and the paperwork.
Sir, it is okay that he do not have to read every document and all the papers, but he should the primary reason of electing a leader that he should basically know how to read and write. The very basic, we are not talking about education, that he should be a well educated. We are talking about the literacy, that he should be a basic literate person who can basic read and write.
Again, I'll say the same thing that it could be achieved afterwards also, but the primary criteria should be the person's honesty or the engagement it has with his or her people, rather than keeping literacy, which can be achieved afterwards, but honesty cannot be developed afterwards. Honesty is something which you have to look into someone who has been working for a very long time, then only you should uh, elect a person on the basis of honesty. If you know that person very well.
But sir, before elections and before electing, all are very honest. They make promises, they do a lot of work, and after getting elected, they all become dishonest. Like we have seen in India, it is very common.
You can quote any example.
Yes, sir. Like the basic, the partial elections which have happened in every state, it is happening. So before elections, they all are very like promising. We will do this. We
Any
will not go
example I
far.
want.
We
And
will not go far.
any person who
We will
was honest at first, but after gaining power became
Before
dishonest.
Bhupesh Baghel sir, our CM, before getting elected, he has promised that he will ban the alcohol fully. We all have heard about it, and now we can see that in 7 months, about crores of alcohol has been sold. So before that, all are honest that we will do this and that, and afterwards they all get converted.
That is not honesty. Honesty is the sense of doing good for people. And if you see the logic behind not banning the alcohol in Chhattisgarh, it is because of the revenue. If a government doesn't want alcohol to sell, thing is because more and more alcohol is sold, the people are getting degraded, the lifestyle of people are getting degraded. But because the major source of revenue for Chhattisgarh government is through alcohol, that is why, in order to not bankrupt the state itself, they cannot do it. So it is not about honesty, but it is more of like logic.
Sir, but this logic is of before also, na? For earlier government also, they also know that alcohol is a very good source of income for them. So why to make false promises and to show public that I am a very good person, I am a very honest person. Afterwards, you are not able to stick to your point only, that CM sir is not able to stick to his point.
Then in
That
that case, no politician in this whole world has kept 100% of their promises. So no one is honest. If you can tell even just one politician who has completed 100% of his promises, just one.
sir, sir then honest person also cannot fulfill his 100%, na?
See, your way of looking at honesty is very different. You're just looking on the words or the promises someone has made. Honesty, for me, honesty is for doing betterment for the people. If you take the example of APJ Abdul Kalam as well, before becoming the president of India, he had many promises, or at least many things which he has stated in his books, many things which he had in mind. He was not able to do it, so he was also dishonest. Keeping promises does not mean that you are honest. Yes, any other arguments? Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. Let's end the session over here. See, first of all, when you're in debate, how I prepare, I'll tell you that once you know the topic, prepare for both the sides, for and against. If you prepare for both the sides, you know other whatever side you choose, you know the against person's arguments. The second benefit is always choose a side by looking at the panel. If majority of the panel is, like, for example, is for the motion, then you should go against the motion because you'll get extra points for that. Those who were against the motion, they have already got one extra point for it because they have chosen a minority side. Because saying against the motion is comparatively harder, difficult than choosing for the motion. Isn't it true?
Yes, sir. When you have when I saw in the post that you have to prepare for both the side, and you will be told to choose any one of the side. Then I prepare for both the side, and in the meet, I when I saw the majority, I turned to the against side.
All right. So also in group discussion, you cannot. It is very very difficult to come to a conclusion. So you cannot say that yes, politicians. The primary criteria for choosing a politician should be literacy. So there are points on both the sides. On if we have to take a conclusion, then we have to go through the minute details as well. But in this session, let's just keep our own opinions to ourselves. We have expressed our opinions, but rather not get into a conclusion because it will again lead to another debate. Another thing is when, as I said, Deepak kept a good note of it that whenever there is silence in between the debate, whoever breaks the silence gets an extra marks. So if there is a silence, there is an opportunity for you. If you break the silence, you get an extra marks. And if you cut someone's points, then you get the bonus marks. So this session was also being recorded. We will upload it on YouTube. So in order to see your own performance, evaluate yourself, you can go through the video. You can see what were the mistakes you had made. If you still have any arguments, see, only Shashank and Saurabh didn't speak. I know the reason behind for Saurabh not to speak. I don't know about Shashank. Rather,
Sorry,
else
sir.
everyone spoke, and I'm quite happy that at least 98%, 97, 98% of the means majority of the people spoke in this session, which is very unusual because many people join, 100 to 150 people join, but only the active speakers are 5 to 10. So rather than keeping all those people as a passive member, I'll rather except you people, at least 10, 15 people who are active. But everyone should speak. Even if you have one point prepared, do not evaluate yourself on the basis of other person's uh, communication skills. Because it might be that he or she had a good background. His or her schooling was from a very good school. So it doesn't matter whatever you have prepared. It is more important that you speak. Maybe it is just one line. It's a paragraph. It doesn't matter. But speaking is more important. So from next time, no one uh, should keep their mouth shut. They should speak just a single line itself. That is enough, and you gradually start increasing that. Then you'll learn to speak openly, and you'll develop the confidence. As of now, only Prakriti turned her video on. So also turning your video on shows your confidence. This was, I believe, this is the first session you guys are having with me. So maybe you are not that much confident, but I hope from next session that you keep your videos on. That way, because when you make eye contact with someone, then your real confidence is shown. When you're behind someone, then everyone can speak, घर में सब share होते हैं, but once you come up, you make eye contact with someone, then shows what level of confidence you have. So from next session, I hope you guys turn on your videos, also make a good eye contact with your uh, against people or your competitors, and then we'll know who is the real lion. So that's it for today's session. I was not able to take notes. From next session, definitely I take notes and tell you what are the things what are the areas you can improve into. If you have any suggestion, any closing arguments, you can tell me. For now, it was a very good session. I hope you guys learned something, had fun. From for the next session, we'll also have a core activity or maybe a fun activity. For then, have a good day, have a nice day, and those who want to speak can stay. Rather, else